Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We just got back from Sturgis, covered over 3,300 miles, did 1,100 miles in one day on these things. We're going to talk to you about these 2023 CVOs.
The great thing about this is we had all kinds of weather conditions, road conditions. We put these things to the test, and you know what? We're going to share that with you.
Yeah, let's get into it. So hey, let's get into this. We'll talk about the ergonomics, the powertrain, the suspension. But first, let's get into the handlebars. What did you think when you first got on this bike?
Well, I absolutely loved it because when I first got on the bike and my arms were like this, I felt like, hey, this is where I need to be instead of down here. So that made the ride really good. My back was in a great position, and I love that, especially for as many miles as we do in a day.
And I think all the controls that they have, you know, they're backlit, you've got volume, you've got menu changes, you've got speed, you've got odometers, you've got traction control. I actually also like that they have all the different ride modes that you can do. There's 3 different ride modes, whether it's rain, and you said we're in all the weather, rain, highway, sport, and then there's 2 modes that you can actually program for yourself. Really cool.
And the really cool thing I liked about it too is it's like, well, I didn't have an instruction book with this thing. So as you're riding, you're figuring things out, but it comes really easy and natural. So I think they did a good job on getting the controls where you need them and how they work. So for me, they worked really good.
Usually we throw these seats away, don't we?
Yes.
Since they're not our bikes, we couldn't throw them away, but I was really surprised that over the 10 days that we rode, I had no back issues. And I told one of the guys that from Harley, this is really actually became a very good seat for me.
And you're 6'2" or 6'1"?
I'm 6 feet tall.
He's 6 feet tall, I'm
220.
5'10", so the bars actually worked and the seat worked for both of us pretty equally. So that was a plus.
So look, we had these tour packs put on. The bikes have not really been seen in pictures or media with tour packs, and we were able to do that. I actually have only run a tour pack on EagleRider and now this, and I'm kind of falling in love with it.
I like having them.
Yeah, so maybe we get into the powertrain a little bit. When I jumped off this bike and I lifted my helmet and you lifted your helmet up, we had smiles on our faces. I mean, it was insane. It almost reminded me of my old CVO that I had actually built, but this is stock out of the box. I cannot believe the responsiveness that you have with this throttle setup. It's amazing that the VVT 121, the power that you get with that.
Well, every single gear that you click through has power for such a long time. So you could be in 6th gear going 95, and if you grab the throttle, it's so responsive, it takes off and goes. So that is a real confidence builder, to have power to make a pass or hang with your bros, whatever it takes. You have what you need.
Yeah, and when you're out on those backcountry roads and you got to make a pass, you're right. In 6th gear, you just wind it and it goes. You know, it's also kind of cool that you can put it in these different modes. We were in some insane rain.
Well, speaking of rain, when you put that in rain mode, the confidence level, I mean, we really didn't change our speed in the rain because the bike felt like it was on a track. Really phenomenal how that rain mode works. I like it because, like you say, we were in water, drenching water down, hail, and these bikes work, no problem whatsoever.
Well, the specs are 125 torque and 115 horsepower, and I can tell you, I felt every bit of it.
Oh yeah.
You know, the other kind of cool thing is we were talking about the rain mode, but you also have the highway mode and the sport mode, and if you click on that mode and the highway, you can actually feel it just kind of lets the bike open up a little bit. When you hit it in sport, man, you're on.
Right, definitely. In sport mode, for me, I loved it in the canyons because when you're carving and you're having a good time with your buddies, that sport mode's right there. Everything about this bike is right there. Everything is real responsive. To me, and I'm not just saying this, I've liked this bike right out of the box since day one when I saw it. So I'm giving this a A+ on all the things that we just talked about. I mean, you couldn't have put them through the paces more than we just did on this Sturgis run. And it was great riding there.
A couple things too. I mean, look at the new saddlebags. It kind of gives it a mean feel to it when you're looking at it from behind. And you know, there's a little more capacity in them, so that was kind of cool.
We left these bikes dirty on purpose because we wanted you to see that they definitely were tested and ridden.
So we've talked about the powertrain, we've talked about the ergonomics of the bike. Last but not least, let's talk about this fairing in the dash.
I love the open fairing of these bikes. I love it on my road glide that I have right now. For me, I would get the Harley-Davidson bigger windshield because I want to be a little more covered there. But headlight, amazing. At night, how was that?
We did a test side by side with Lance on his CVO road glide. Lance hit the brights and it was nice. So turn off, I hit the brights, and wow, what coverage we got, and much brighter. So
And Lance has a 19 CVO, and the headlights on that, you all know what those are like. They're great. They are really great. But these new ones just bring a whole new dynamic to this lighting situation.
yeah, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about all the gauges being digital in the head unit, but hey, I got to tell you, I liked it. It's almost like a sports car feel to it. You've got the tack and the speedo there. You've got the navigation you can set in different places in the head unit. And then you've got this odometer roll through that you get all these various information points on the bike, whether it's tires, whether it's temperature of the bike, temperature outside. Really cool, really functional. There is a little bit of a flicker sometimes on the speedo that catches your eye, which I think they'll improve on that. But other than that, I really liked it. The nav worked great. How about that stereo?
Well, again, the nav and the stereo, it's all one of those things where when you start using it and playing with it, you don't need an instruction book. Everything kind of falls into place. You find the buttons. Another thing on the fairing that I really like is these side wings. They open and shut manually, but you can direct airflow however you like it and however you want it to be on your body, away from your body. All in all, you know, really cool. And, you know, with this air cleaner, rain, hail, it's got a good protection. You don't need to throw the rain sock on.
No sock over it. So let's get into the suspension. We forgot about that.
Well, we didn't forget about it, but here it is right here. I mean, there's a knob on the side of the bike for dampening, and that really works well. You can go in and out depending what you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that on the left side, on the right-hand side, if you take the bag off, there's a jam nut, so you can adjust preload.
Yep.
And there's also a rebound dial at the bottom. So unlike some of the prior suspensions, this has worked out really well. We've got the inverted front end as well, which I really like the style of. For me personally, I'd like it a little bit more firm.
No.
Has a nice ride, bottomed out a couple times, but not bad at all. For the person that's not an aggressive rider, they're gonna love it.
And for stopping power, the Brembo brakes are awesome. Love the way they are. And I got to say, the braking, not just the acceleration of the bike, but the braking is very responsive. You know, I felt so confident riding this bike. And believe me, we went from 45 miles an hour through towns to 90.
Undisclosed amounts of.
And it has all you need when you need it.
I mean, as you say, I loved riding this bike. We had a great time. We were able to get some miles down on it. We tested it. Overall, this bike, to me, just coming out of the box, we had 900 miles on them when we started. We got over 4,500 miles on them now. And it was a great 3,500 mile run.
Well, should we get into what we did on the way home?
Yeah, let's do that. Well, let's get into the trip home, man. That was a crazy day for us.
And the way it unfolded as we went, we were going to go to Heber, Utah. And as we're riding, things are changing. We had a little bit of weather, but it was really kind of a nice day. And things started changing. Should we go 100 more miles? Should we go 100 more miles? And it kept unfolding.
So really, Heber's about 650 miles from Deadwood. So we would have had about an 800 mile, 750 mile day in front of us the next day. So it would have been a little bit longer ride, but the boys were pumped, I'm telling you. And it's like, hey, let's get to the gas stop, let's be quick. So we just got out on that road, and then, like you say, it was like, should we go further? And then it's like, well, from Heber to really St. George, there's not a lot of places to stay. So why not? Let's just fill up again and get going, right?
Well, I'm gonna officially claim, I mean, it's not an official Iron Butt registered on their website, but I'm gonna officially claim that we're the first two guys tandem together on our bikes to rip home from Sturgis and do 1,100 miles in 17 hours on these beauties right here.
So we ended up in Las Vegas, started at Deadwood in the morning, took us 16 hours. It was about 1,150 miles on the route that we took. So I know Juan and Lance are pretty excited about that too. It was a great time.
Yeah, and you know what's really bizarre about that? You crush the miles, your energy's down, you have dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you get back on the bike and you're like, wow, this is great. I want to ride again.
Hell yeah. And that was a tough day as well because we had monsoonal rains in Wyoming. So
hail
was there. I mean, water was literally 2 or 3 inches deep on the highway. So that took a little bit out of us, but it didn't stop us. We kept going.
Nothing stops us.
That's
We're the
right.
highwaymen.
So we hope you enjoyed this video. We have the 2023 Sturgis Series dropping soon. Can't wait to see that on film. Eats, good rides, fun. Where are we standing right now?
We are standing in front of our brand new showroom. We are going to have an expanded showroom. We're going to have all kinds of parts and accessories available for you to walk in and buy or buy online. We are a drag dealer, so this is going to be great. We're really excited about this, and it's coming soon.
Yeah, destination place for motorcycles or anyone that wants to come in, shoot the shit, talk bikes, buy parts, buy something from Two Lane Life.
Have a cup of coffee.
Have a cup of coffee. So hey, if you had as what?
If you had as much fun watching this video as we did making it, a good time was had by all.
You know it, man. Subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment, and we will see you down the road.